All right, boys and girls, let's get started. So today we are doing the reading mystery. So we are finding evidence to solve the case. Our objective is, how are our authors conveying their purpose? Some other things we're working on are also having those respectful conversations with our classmates and using digital tools or websites to publish our writing. All right, let's champ it out. So our expectations during this lesson, our conversation level is going to be a 0 if I'm talking or our classmates talking, or a level 2 if you're turning and talking. If you need help or you want to make a comment, just raise your hand. The activities, whole group reading. The movement, sitting still but sitting up successfully. Signaling, if you need to use the restroom or tissue or water. And then I'll know you're participating if you're raising your hand, ask and answer questions, you're making eye contact, you're tracking the speaker, head nodding. And then boys and girls, if we do all these things, we're going to have success. Success, that's right. All right, so let's go ahead and open to our learning objective. All right, let's read our learning objective on 3. 1, 2, 3. I will identify the main purpose of a text, including what the author wants to answer, explain, or describe. Excellent. So let's just remember that word identify means I'm picking it out of the text, I'm figuring it out, I'm looking at my evidence in the text. And then our main purpose, that's when we're talking about our author's purpose. So all writers have their reason for writing. So let's stand up to remember our movements and the author's purpose. Let's do our movements. Not yet, let's stand up. All right, so let's do persuade first. Say persuade. Persuade. Let's do our movement. What does persuade mean? What's the writer trying to do? Ava?
Trying to get me to do something.
Maybe she's trying to get me to do something. What else might the author be doing? Elizabeth?
Change your mind,
Maybe
make
he's
you believe in something.
Maybe he's trying to change my mind or making me believe something. Excellent. Let's do our movement for inform. What's the author trying to do if he's informing me? He or she's informing me. Nora?
Give you facts about something, teach you something, and it's also answering your questions and
So maybe the author's giving me facts, he said. That's great. Maybe he's teaching something. And then he also is probably explaining, answering, or describing something. Excellent job. Let's do our movement for entertain. And what's the author doing if he's entertaining me? Aaliyah?
make you feel something.
He wants me to feel something, maybe some emotion. So maybe I'm feeling happy, I'm sad. Excellent job. What else might he be doing, Andy?
Make you enjoy something.
Maybe enjoying the story. So it's a story that he wants me to enjoy. Now, let's do our movement for inform one last time. Because that's where we're diving deeper. So I feel like we're really great at these 3, but this standard is a little bit more complex than that. So when the author is informing, he's teaching us something. And he's going to be answering a question, explaining something, or describing something. So that's where we're diving into with this standard. All right, let's sit back down by our partners. All right, here are some clues for us. So go ahead and turn to your anchor chart in your folder. So you have your copy of the anchor chart as well. Good, I noticed Ava turned to it right away. Thank you, Ava. Great, so when the author's purpose is to inform us, boys and girls, so he might be explaining something. So when the author's explaining something, he's saying how something's done. And our clue words are first, next, then, finally, last. When the author's describing something, the author wants to use those adjectives in there. He's going to be telling me how something looks, feels, tastes, sounds. So he's really going to be using my 5 senses. So as I'm reading something and I feel like the author's using my senses, maybe my sight or my hearing, then I know he's describing something to me. If the author's answering a question, then you may see clue words like why something is or why something happens. And you may see clue words like because, why, who, what, when, and where. And there also might be another pretty big clue in there, Andrew. There may be some question marks in there. All right, any questions about our anchor chart? So it's going to, any questions? Okay. This is the anchor chart too. So we have it up here and you have it in your folders to refer throughout the lesson. All right, so I'm just going to show you your scale. You can go ahead and turn to it. We're just going to talk about it now, but we'll track our progress later. I noticed Leanna's right on that scale. She has it open. Thank you, Leanna. Following directions so quickly. Okay, so I feel like we're all at our crack-in. We all cracked out of that shell a little bit. We can identify if the author's persuading, informing, or entertaining. Now we're going deeper into the standard. This is our goal for second grade. We're identifying the main purpose, so doing this, but then we also have to include what the author wants to explain, describe, or answer. And then we want to try and go above that by conducting our research, creating our website that has a main purpose. So creating that website that's showing a main purpose and making evidence fit. Also, today we're going to practice here at this 4, trying to prove the main purpose of my classmates' website. Also being able to prove a text as well by collecting evidence. So remember, we're going to be finding that evidence over here. So here's that example of how we've been practicing finding that evidence in a text. Are there any questions about the learning scale? Okay. All right, so let's practice. So go ahead and turn back to your anchor chart so you have it in front of you and you can fold that way you might need it to look at your clues as your detective work. Go ahead and turn to your anchor chart. Yes, I put that so it hides the other two. Go ahead and turn to your anchor chart, Diego. Okay, let's study picture 1. So this definitely has a purpose to it. The author's either persuading, informing, or entertaining. And he's either, he or she, and authors can be a she too, is either explaining, describing, or answering a question. So I want partner 1 to turn and talk to their partners about what they think the author's purpose is for this photo and how the author's conveying that purpose. So you think it's explaining because you see like first, next, then. Can you see what to do first? What do you think the author's trying to teach you? How to wash your hands? You see your clue word how in there? So do you think he's persuading, informing, or entertaining? Informing us how to wash our hands, and he's showing that purpose by explaining the steps to washing my hands? Okay, I stopped and I heard Nora and Jalen's conversation. Does anyone want to share out? So maybe partner 2 can share what partner 1 talked about? What the author's purpose is? Diego?
Explain.
He's explaining? He or she's explaining? Huh?
He's how to wash your hands.
So he's teaching us how to wash our hands, and he's doing that by explaining the steps to wash our hands. And you see the clue word? What's the clue word? How. So that how word is in there. I know we don't see the words first, next, then, but I can see what I'm supposed to do first and last. Nice job. Now, I'm going to pick a stick, and we're going to see. Oh, do we agree with Diego? If you agree, let's do our agree sign. Does anybody disagree with Diego? Have a different idea? No? You agree? Okay. Let's pick a stick and see if he's right. Oscar, come on up. Hopefully it works. All right, so let's tap the arrow. Wait, we'll tap and make the box come around here. Okay, now let's drag it down. There we go. And it's explaining. Let's do a golf clap. Nice job, Diego. Nice job, Oscar. Thank you. All right, let's look at our next picture. Okay, so study the picture. Think about what the author's purpose is, how they're conveying their purpose. Partner 2 is going to turn and tell their partners what they think it is. All right, partner 2, get talking.
I'm sorry, because there's an dolphin and telling people
So you think it's describing? He's telling us kind of what the dolphin body parts look like. Do you think he's informing us? Is he teaching us what the body parts look like, what they're called? Excellent. What do we think?
We think it's describing such as showing the body parts of the dolphin.
It's showing us, so it's using our sight. All right, so partner 1 or partner 3, do you want to tell me what partner 2 said? Nora?
Describing.
So the author's describing, and he's informing us. And how did you know it was describing? It's labeling what the parts look like. Excellent findings. Do we agree? Does anybody disagree? Think it's something different? We all agree? We're on the same page? All right, let's pick a stick and see who's going to come reveal the answer. Tremar, come on up. All right, so we'll tap. Well, why don't you just tap the arrow? We probably don't need the stick. Let's get that box right now. We'll drag it down. Excellent. Drag it down. And it's describing. Excellent job. Let's golf clap for everyone. Nice job, boys and girls. All right, let's move down. We have one more. Okay, so this one says, what is matter? It says something that takes up space, volume, and has mass, weight. Everything around you is made up of matter. Matter has 3 states: solids, liquids, and gases. So partner 3 or partner 1 is going to talk about this picture. So turn and talk about what's the author's purpose. How is he showing his purpose? He or she, the author. Answering a question. Great job saying why you think it is. Do you agree with Cheyenne?
Yeah.
You agree with her? You see the clue word what in there? What do you all think it was? Answering a question. And how'd you come up with that answer? It's asking a question. Good. Hey, does the partner want to tell me what their partner said? Cheyenne?
I think it's answering a question because it has the word what, and it's telling you what is matter, and I think it's informing because it had underneath it has answering a question.
Excellent. So I heard explaining in there, I heard informing in there, I heard why she thought it was. So she said it has our clue word what. It's answering a question. So she said the author is informing us. She said that the author is answering a question because he actually goes and answers, the author goes and answers what is matter. So do we agree with Cheyenne? Does anyone disagree? No? No disagreeing? We all agree? We're all on the same page? All right, let's see who's going to reveal our answer. Cheyenne. All right, go ahead and click on the arrow. Good, and then it should be ready to drag down, down, down. And answering a question. Let's give ourselves a golf clap, boys and girls. You're doing an excellent job. Okay, so now we'll get into our presentation. So we're going to have time for one presentation today, Andy. So let's just remember, let's go over our rubric again. I'm looking for if your topic is very, very clear on your website and if the audience is understanding your purpose. So if your purpose for your website is coming across clear. Can we tell if you're persuading, informing, or entertaining? And can we tell and identify if you're explaining, describing, or answering a question? Your voice is loud and clear. The audience can clearly hear you. And then your visual, so your website, does it support your main purpose? Is the facts you have in there supporting your main purpose? Are there any questions about our presentation rubric? Okay. Boys and girls, you're doing an excellent job. Eye contact, sitting up successfully. Let's go over our directions really quick for our presentation so we know what to do. So first, classmate, Andy's going to share her website, and she's going to be conveying a purpose. She's going to be showing a purpose. You and your partner are going to be actively listening. So show me what actively listening looks like. Nice job. And I want you to think in your head, what would Andy's purpose be on her website? How is she showing that purpose? After the presentation, you and your partner are going to talk about the website. You're going to have a copy of the website. You're going to text mark and underline evidence. And then you're going to fill out your evidence finder, so our detective work, getting your evidence in. And then you're going to wait patiently. And then we'll share out some evidence that we found. So who can tell me what I should do while someone's presenting? What should I do during the presentation? Cheyenne?
Actively listening.
I need to be actively listening. What else should I be doing?
And think in your head what the main purpose may be.
So be thinking in my head what the main purpose is. What am I going to do after the presentation? So when the presentation's done. Leanna? What are me and my partner going to do after the presentation? Maybe you're going to find like evidence together, so you're going to turn and talk about what you think the purpose of the website is. And then you're going to work on your evidence finder, okay? Are there any questions about that? So we know exactly what we're doing? Okay. All right, so our first presenter is going to be Andy for our project. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the little world, and it's going to take us to Andy's website that she created. Let me get my keyboard. Click with that. Yeah, it changed the color, didn't it? Okay. All right. Here you go. I'll take it over to you. And then Andy's going to actually walk around with me after the website and help you all figure out her purpose. She's going to give you hints, but not tell you what it is.
The website I created is called Is There a Problem with Pythons? Yes. Why did the python problem begin? Burmese pythons are not from the United States. This species comes from southern Asia. But many years ago, park workers noticed Burmese pythons living in the Everglades. In the 1970s, people began selling Burmese pythons in the U.S. as pets. An adult Burmese python can be longer than a minivan. People who bought Burmese pythons were often sorry that they did. They didn't know what to do next. So many people decided to set their snakes loose outside. But that wasn't a good idea. Because of this problem, there may be as many as 150,000 pythons living in the Everglades. This is not good for the flood Everglades because the python does not have a natural enemy. The Burmese python have eaten so many animals that some of them have been disappearing. There aren't many rabbits, raccoons, deer, or bobcats left in the Everglades. It is now against the law to bring a Burmese python to the U.S. to sell. Pythons can get up to 20 to 24 feet long. This is why people decided to set their snakes loose outside.
Excellent. Let's give her a nice round of applause. You did an excellent job. Excellent. Now, boys and girls, I do have my tracker over here, so I'll be tracking your turning and talking on, so I'll be rating you on the scale and writing down some things that you say during your turn and talk. So I am listening and tracking now. Are you turning and talking? Are you mastering the standard on the scale? Excellent job, Andy. So let me go over directions one more time right now. So right now, you and your partner are going to turn and talk first. Don't get our case file out. You're going to turn and talk about what you think Andy's purpose of her website is and how is she conveying her purpose. And me and Andy will walk around, and then I'll tell you when to get out your case file. All right, Andy, let's go ahead and walk around. All right, turn and talk about what you think her purpose is and why. You go over there.
Okay, I'm going. I think it's answering a question because it had a question mark after the title, so that's why I think it's answering a question.
And how big it gets, answer a question.
So you think answering a question? And do you agree with him, Oscar? Did you think it was answering a question too? So what do you think her purpose is? Do you think she's persuading, informing, or entertaining us? Informing us, and she's informing us by answering a question? Are they coming up with the right? They're talking right? What do we think? Answering a question. Okay, boys and girls, I just wanted to get you some talking in. So now we'll be successful on our evidence finder. So go ahead and locate your case file. So case RI 2.6. This is me, I'm Agent Miss Borengasser. So go ahead and get yours open. So in your case file, you're going to find the text that goes along with Andy's website. And you're going to find your evidence finder. So what I want you and your partner to do, boys and girls, can I have your attention? I know I told you to get your stuff out. I'll give you a second. So go ahead and get your papers out real quick. And then give me eye contact. Okay. I'll give you till 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll help you. Okay. All right, boys and girls, give me some eye contact. You can get your papers ready in a minute. So the first thing you and your partners are going to do, you can highlight and text mark clue words, text evidence, eye contact, Elizabeth and Diego. I know we're excited about our case files. You're going to text mark evidence, highlight clue words, and then you're going to turn and talk with your partner and say, what is Andy's purpose? And then copy some evidence down, or write how you know and get some evidence down. And if you need help, we have our evidence finder example over here that we did on that elephant text. All right, so go ahead and turn and talk. Me and Andy will be walking around and helping guide you through this. Find your evidence together. Oh yeah, so here's your evidence finder. So we're doing Andy's website. And you're highlighting some evidence. So why are we highlighting that as evidence?
Because that is the title, and that is one thing that helps me know that it's answering a question.
So that helps you know she's answering a question. Do you agree that Andy is answering a question? What do you think she's doing? Is she persuading us, informing us, or entertaining us?
I think she is informing us.
We are focusing on that informing.
Facts, and she's teaching new stuff.
She's teaching us new stuff. So did you know about this Python problem in Florida?
No.
So did she teach you something today? Well, that's pretty cool, isn't it? You learned something today. All right, see how many more clue words and more evidence you can find, and then start filling out your evidence tracker. So what are we finding over here? Are we finding some evidence? What do you girls think her purpose is? So do you think she's persuading us, informing us, or entertaining us first? Answering a question. So would that be persuade, inform, or entertain? Well, let's see the chart. So what do you think she's doing? Is she having us do something? Is she teaching us? Or is she enjoying us? Informing. So do you agree that she's teaching us something? And she's giving us facts? So do you agree that she's informing us? Okay, so let's look here. Let's look here at the anchor chart. So when the author is answering a question, you may see clue words like why. So you may see because or why. Okay, go ahead and start filling out your evidence tracker. Sure, you can scroll down, but they need to start filling out evidence trackers. Last. Okay, so go ahead and start filling out your evidence tracker. Boys and girls, at this point, you need to start filling out your evidence tracker. And you need to start answering those questions on your evidence tracker. So let's put highlighters away and start filling out our evidence tracker. So you're circling answering a question. Okay, and Aaliyah, you're starting to write your evidence down? Thank you. Compliment. Well, Andy read the information to you. That's just there for you to see it. So go ahead and start filling out your evidence tracker. So answering a question, good. And how do you know that she's answering a question? So what's her purpose? So that's what you're going to write on your lines. So that's how I know, are you understanding your standard? You're going to be writing the author's purpose, answering a question. That's good. Okay, So what evidence helped you identify Andy's purpose? And we'll go over an example together. So just tell me kind of what you turned and talked about, exactly what you said to Oscar. I know sometimes it's hard to put it into writing after you talked about it, but exactly what you told Oscar is perfect to write here. Okay? So do you need to turn and talk to him again?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell him what's Andy's purpose of her website. What do you think it was? Mm-hmm.
About Python, I mean, why did Python problem begin?
Mm-hmm. Why the Python problem? Do your best spelling. Why the Python problem began? Okay. Okay, boys and girls. Does anyone want to share out what Andy's purpose is? What do they think Andy's purpose is and how do you know? Nora?
Answering a question.
Answering a question. And so is she persuading, informing, or entertaining us?
Informing.
Informing us. And how do you know she was answering a question?
Because
There's a question.
then she answers
And she answers that question for us. All right, boys and girls, can we put pencils down and have eyes on me? We have a couple things left to do. I'll give you time a little bit later to finish filling out your evidence finder with your text. Jalen, nothing in our hands at the moment. Let's be champs and give eye contact. Everything down. Not right now. So this is just an example of something you could have written down. So eyes up here. Excellent. How is Andy conveying or showing her purpose? Circle the correct choice. So I should have circled answering a question. Nothing in our hands, Elizabeth. What evidence helped you identify Andy's main purpose? The main purpose of Andy's website is to inform me about the Python problem. I know because she is answering the question, is there a problem with pythons? In her website, she says that there is a problem with pythons because other animals in the Everglades are disappearing. Now, I do want to make sure that we track our progress. So right now, I want you to find your scale. If you struggled with that a little bit, that's okay. We're getting better at finding that evidence. So go ahead and find your scale. Turn and talk to your partner about where you are on the scale and why, and highlight the parts of the scale that you feel that you have mastered.
I feel like I think I'm ready for, right?
And we'll turn and tell them why you feel that you're a 4. Don't worry about putting your evidence away now. We'll put that away in a minute. Go ahead and start turning and talking. No, just start turning and talking about the scale. We'll put evidence away later. Just set it to the side. This. So you think you're a 3 on the scale? And so you think you can identify if the other's answering, explaining, or describing? All right, so highlight the parts of the scale that you feel that you can do.
I think I'm mentioned because
All right.
I can identify.
So you feel you could identify if the author's persuading, informing, or entertaining? Thanks. So explain or describe. Did you tell Oscar where you were on the scale and why? Not yet? Okay.
I just said it.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and tell us where we are on the scale and why you think you're there on the scale.
Is it okay if we open like this too?
Whatever you feel that you are on the scale, the parts you want to highlight.
I'm a 2 and a 3.
You feel that you're a 2 and the 3? Okay, can you highlight the parts on the scale that you feel like you've mastered?
Technically, I'm not yet. So I feel like I'm a 2 and I'm a 3. So I'm kind of.
You're kind of. You could be partial. You could be like a 3.5.
I think I got it like a geese.
You think you got it like a gator? So you could highlight the parts where you are. Oops. Silly. Okay. Okay, finish up highlighting, then close your marker. I heard some great conversations, boys and girls. We have one little thing that I think will take about 2 minutes. So go ahead and close your markers. Close your markers. Close your highlighters in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, highlighters closed, eyes up here. All right, we have one more thing to just reflect on that I want you to reflect on and exit ticket about. So what are we doing this for? Why are we learning this? Why are we learning the standard? Why did we learn how to make a website? Why do we think? Hands still. Because why? To help us in college. So maybe in college I need to read a textbook and figure out the purpose of that textbook, and it will help me maybe get to college and do well in college. Andy?
Get a career.
To help me in a career. So maybe in a career I could create a website and for my business, or maybe I could tell my boss, hey, I know how to make a website. Other ideas how maybe learning how about the main purpose or creating a website. Elizabeth?
On your FSA?
So on my FSA next year. So maybe on the FSA next year I have to read a text. And if I understand the purpose of that text and I can tell what the author's doing, then it will help me figure out what that text is about and answer questions on it. Any other ideas? Help me get a college degree. Yes, so every lesson we're doing in here is important. It has a purpose. Even our lessons have a purpose. So I'm going to pass out a sticky note. You're going to reflect on a sticky note, and then we're going to put your name on your sticky note and stick up here on so what, so why. Why are we learning this? How can it help us in the future? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pass out your sticky note. If you need to share ideas with your partner, that's fine. And then we'll finish evidence collectors later.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And then when you're done, just give me a thumbs up. And then I'll have you come stick your sticky note on our reflection circle map.
Can we reflect with our partner?
Sure. That's what she's there for. This isn't independent work. This is whole group and turn and talk time. You'll have your independent reading test next week.
So I think it
So what do you think? How could learning this help us?
help others.
Okay, so maybe you could help a friend figure out the main purpose of a text. Do you think it's important to be able to read something and figure out why the author is writing it? Do you think it's important to know why the author is writing something? Yeah, it's important to know. Do you want to be able to read text and figure out why the author wrote it? Do you maybe want to write text of your own one day that have a purpose? Yeah, that would be pretty neat. You're done, Andy? All right, you can come stick it up.
Don't forget your name.
Don't forget your name. Okay, you just give me a thumbs up. Oh, put your name so we know it's yours. Okay, well, why do you think it's important to learn how to find the main purpose of a text?
So it could be.
So why do you think? Why do you think it's important to know why an author writes something? You're not sure? Do you think it's important to understand what the author's trying to tell you when you read something? Because if I'm reading a text and I'm not sure what the author's trying to tell me, then I might be a little confused about what the author's saying. So having the main purpose, it's important to be able to know, because when I read any text, if I read a website, or if I read a recipe, or if I read a textbook, or I read an article in the newspaper, I want to know what the author's trying to tell me. Okay? And then it can help you next year on your FSA. It can help you in high school, in college, reading your textbooks. Because once you know the main purpose of the text, it will help you understand it a lot better. So you could write, anything that will help me in the future.
Help you get money.
Like pass the FSA or get a good career. If you can make a website even, so you can reflect on both of that, making a website or using a website to publish your writing. Mm-hmm.
Help you like that.
Yeah, that works. Sure, that works. Do your best spelling. I'll know what you mean. I'll come over and help you spell it in a moment, but. E-O-P-L-E. Did you try and sound it out? Good, you're on the right track. E-E-E-G-E. E-G-E. Good, you wrote to pass second grade, to get better at school, pass high school, help you get pass college, get a good job with money, pass the FSA. Nice ideas. All right, yeah, as you finish, you can stick your sticky note on our circle map so we can look at our ideas together.